Imagine it's your birthday party, somebody brings a cake. It looks so good and you just can't wait to get a piece. Time comes to cut it up, something goes terribly wrong. There's 20 people at the party and 10 don't have any cake at all. 5 people have just a bite, 4 people have only slices. One greedy bastard has the rest of the cake in a vice grip. Well, this is what's happening in our country now. We've got such inequality, most of us don't really see. You know that I loved Hillary for quite some time. Well, that time is done. She's just another professor of life, backed by Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch and the rest of Wall Street. Oh no, I hear this discourse of hopelessness, like there's nothing we can do to fix our country. Entrenched in corruption, we're in too deep. I disagree, we've got an opportunity, and his name is Bernie. Yeah, his name is Bernie. So listen to me, well, he's backed by unions, never on a negative act. He's calling out billionaires, no wonder he's so mad. I'm mad too, and I hope you are. Pernicious political power play has gone too far. We need a change, we need always something different. And if you're gonna say you hate the government, go out and make it different. We have an opportunity, and his name is Bernie. I beg you, go out and read about this candidate. Forget the hate, change the way you say the things you say. We can win the race if you change the way you say the things you say. Bernie Sanders, wake up, he's an answer. More of us normal folk than there are of the powerful. Bernie Sanders, wake up, he's an answer for all of the corruption that's traumatized our nation until now. If you wanna know how to get involved, it's not that hard. Go on the internet, but you gotta give a shit. I hope you do, 'cause I live here. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to give up on my nation just yet. We've gotta get Bernie Sanders. We've gotta get Bernie Sanders in the White House. Gotta get Bernie Sanders. We've gotta get Bernie Sanders in the White House. Gotta get Bernie Sanders. We've gotta get Bernie Sanders in the White Bernie Sanders, wake up, he's the answer. There's more of us normal folk than there are of the powerful. Bernie Sanders, wake up, he's the answer to all of the corruption that's traumatized our nation until now.
Hey everybody, I just had to play that. That's an oldie actually. That was one of the ones we played quite some time ago. It's nice to hear that again. That was Julia Kate Davis from May 20th, 2015. There's actually somebody, well, there was somebody on stage right now, and actually there's another person getting up there right now, and I'm going to cut to that live, courtesy of Bernie Sanders speeches and events. So we'll go right now to that, folks. Give me 1 second.
Phoenix, and of course all the way up here to Flagstaff. So big thank you. Now, we started this campaign here in Arizona officially in November, but even before
Get that audio adjusted.
your efforts were the reason that, I came on staff here. We had such a large base of support.
It seems to be coming in and out from Bernie Sanders speeches and events.
To start some of the council members and supervisors that, you know, just, and of course you guys that have been just wonderful. Now, elections days are tomorrow. Who's going to go out and vote? Their neighbors and their coworkers. Not very far from the start of this program. I just want to say, it'll be. I just want to say, you know, tomorrow is really important for us, and here in Arizona, we are literally within the margins. We need all your help, all the help we can get to make sure that, you know, that person that you talk with every day that you might not, you know whether, you know, they're voting for Bernie or not. I'm sure you've had that conversation and you know whether they're voting for Bernie. But, you know, we need all the help we can get here in Arizona. Tomorrow is going to be the day that we make sure that we let everybody else know that Arizona is Bernie country. So thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you.
So I just realized I could come on here and tell you guys basically what's going on. So we're waiting for somebody to show up here. As soon as I see somebody else get up there, we'll cut back over. This stream is coming to us from Bernie Sanders' speeches and events. So I just want to thank them. Here, we'll get this up here. Sorry, I'm working on the audio there. So the music that's coming in there, you heard Prince started, and by the way, Prince is a big jerk with regard to his music rights, so we make sure that doesn't happen. So as soon as that started, Bernie Sanders' speeches and events kicked in one of their music tracks, and we shouldn't have any problem with that. And we just discovered a way that we can deal with that on our own at BTV, so we're very happy about that. But hi everybody, how you doing? Big crowd here. Nice to see you all. We'll get comments going. We have some comments. We have those working up yet? Anybody let me know what we're going on for comments? Glad to have you here for the conversation, everybody. While we wait for this to start, while we wait for somebody to show up, let's talk about some of the news. Let's talk about some of the things going down. So let's see here. One of the things is, did you guys know that Bernie Sanders won the Democrats abroad vote? Okay, this is all of the Democrats that are out across the world, not in the United States, they had this vote. Democrats abroad, Bernie Sanders wins it, and the numbers, all right, here we go, 69-31. Bernie Sanders has won Democrats abroad presidential primary, defeating former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton 69-31. Sanders received 23,779 votes from American Democrats living in more than 170 countries. Clinton received 10,689 votes. He picks up an additional 9 delegates compared to Clinton's 4. So that is awesome. We are happy about that. It's good to see that. Yeah, Clinton got 4. Yes, Job, however you want to pronounce that. I like that name. That's cool. Job. Bernie fucking Sanders. Absolutely. And yes, this is a bumper sticker. I realized it was a very easy fix to cover up the Levi's logo that had been on here. This is my favorite sweatshirt. I know I need to get a Bernie sweatshirt. I just like this one. This is it's a bumper sticker from Bernie PDX out here yeah, awesome for Americans living abroad. Absolutely is. Here, guys, tomorrow. So we will be doing a streamathon. We'll also be talking to Job from Place a Vote. If you're not familiar with Place a Vote, go there. All right, go to Place a Vote, placeavote.com, register, get in there, do it. It's going to be awesome. All right. Oh, it looks like the stream from News Universe channel. That's the other stream we have coming from, folks, is News Universe channel. So we'd like to thank them for that. And please show them our love. Say thank you very much. Go there, watch their stream if you prefer. What we do here is add the engagement broadcast process. We have moderators, chat monitors. They take your comments and they'll put them in a spreadsheet, and I will overlay them so we can see what everybody else is having to say. We broadcast this out on the web. We talk about news. We have a conversation. It's just a little different than what they do in other places. I want to show you that. Looks like they're cutting away from the music. Give me 1 second. Oh, we just turned it to a new song. I wanted to show you this, guys. Voting for Bernie in America, and this is what we got going on tomorrow. We have Arizona, we have Utah, and we have Idaho. All right, Arizona. This is what you have going on. Tomorrow, all Arizona polls are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Arizonans must present a photo ID and proof of current address in order to vote. Learn more about acceptable documents here. So this is all at vote.berniesanders.com, everybody. Go there, find out what you need to do. That's Arizona. Utah, here's what's going on for you. Doors open at 6 p.m. You must be in line by 8:30 p.m. in order to caucus. You may still, you're only 17, you may still caucus in Utah if you'll be 18 years old by November 8th. Hello, youth. Get out there and do that. And if you're in Idaho, here's what's going on in Idaho. The caucus times vary based on time zone. If your caucus is in Mountain Time, it runs from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., with doors closing at 7 p.m. If your caucus time is in Pacific, it runs from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., with doors closing at 6 p.m. I think somebody started here, folks. I think we're going to cut over to that. Here we go.
But tomorrow is what this event is about. If we do our jobs, and we have done our jobs, Bernie will add Arizona. Nomination for President of the United States. We have had the privilege of watching as an
All right, I'm going to cut over to News Universe channel. They've got a clear signal, and we're going to pick this up. It's on a little bit of a delay, folks.
through the collective action. As an idea became a spark became a fire, and that fire, through the collective actions of millions and millions of America, has blazed across this nation. The Bernie for President campaign, like all of his campaigns for the last 35 years, is remarkable for so many reasons. Yet at its core, its success and its resonancy is so simple. It is rooted in the principles of equity and fairness, and based on the belief that one of the primary fundamental roles of government is to ensure that those with money, power, and influence do not steamroll or railroad those who do not have money, power, and influence. What Bernie says is what so many of us know intuitively, that it is not by accident that the forces which shape our economy and our political system evolved. It is by intention. It is not by accident that despite record stock market profits over the last 6 years, poverty rates in Coconino County have gone up some 30%, and 45% of youth in rural Coconino County, many indigenous youth, live below the poverty line. That is unacceptable. It is not by accident that Arizona's governor threatens to withhold funds from cities and counties who choose to raise the minimum wage. Yet Coconino County has twice the state average of levels of full-time workers who live below the poverty line. It's unacceptable. We owe Bernie a huge thanks, but we also owe you your energy, your advocacy, and your commitment. So on behalf of the thousands of Northern Arizona residents and citizens who have worked so hard for Bernie, I want to introduce to you the distinguished senator from the great state of Vermont, the next president of the United States, Bernie Sanders!
Thank you, Flagstaff. This is a large, loud, and boisterous crowd. I love it. Thank you all very much for coming out. Let me begin by thanking the Harrison Fjord Band, Cassandra Bison, Jose, our state director, Jose Miranda, and let me thank also Arthur Babbitt for that vigorous introduction. When we began this campaign about 10 months ago, we were 70 points behind Hillary Clinton. 70 points. CBS poll just came out this. In other words, we are making some progress. We have now won 9 state primaries and caucuses. It was just announced this afternoon or this morning that we won Democrats abroad. And tomorrow, if we have a large voter turnout, if all of you and your uncles and your aunts and your moms and your dads and your kids and your brothers and your sisters and all your friends and your co-workers, if everybody comes out to vote, we're going to win here in Arizona. And tomorrow, we think we have an excellent chance, a strong opportunity to win in Idaho, to win in Utah. And let me tell you what momentum is about. Just 2 days ago, most amazing, there was a poll in the Utah newspapers. Utah is one of the most conservative states in America. It has not voted for a Democratic candidate for president in 50 years. This is what the poll said 2 days ago. Sanders beats Trump by 11 points. There was a poll that just came out a few hours ago from CNN. Now, one of the charges that our opponents levy at us is they say, well, you know, Bernie's a nice guy, combs his hair fantastically. But you know, Bernie just can't win a general election against the Republicans. Just can't do it. Now, polls are polls. They go up, they go down. We take them with a grain of salt. But this poll is very consistent with many other polls. Let me read you some numbers. Nationally, this is a CNN poll. Hillary Clinton does well against Donald Trump. She beats him 53, 41, 12 points. We beat him by 20 points. Same poll, Hillary Clinton loses to John Kasich by 6 points. She loses. We beat Kasich. Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz are in a tie, 48. All of us know that we have got to do everything we can to make certain that a Republican does not occupy the White House next year. I believe, objectively speaking, there is no question but that you are looking at the strongest Democratic candidate to defeat the Republicans. And it is not just polls. There's something more important, and you are demonstrating it here tonight. Democrats win when millions of people are excited and hopeful for the future and are prepared to get engaged in the political process. That's when Democrats win. Republicans win when people are demoralized, when the voter turnout is low, and when the billionaires buy elections. I don't think any fair-minded person would disagree with the assertion that our campaign has the energy, has the momentum, and can bring out large numbers of people. Now, our campaign is doing as well as it is. It has the momentum and the energy for one very simple reason. We are doing something very unusual in contemporary American politics. We are telling the truth. Now, the truth is not always pleasant. That is true for our personal lives. If we simply push it under the rug and
Yep, it's frozen. Hang on, folks. We're going to the other feed.
Too many people have fought and died to defend democracy. We are not going to allow this country to become an oligarchic society. But it is not just big money buying elections. What we are seeing all over this country are cowardly.
Be careful with this feed, folks. The audio is poppy. It's going to bounce from really quiet to really loud, and I have no control over that. I've got it on a compressor, but I have no control over the pops.
Sadly, one of the lowest voter turnouts to increase voter turnout, not decrease voter turnout. Republican governors in a dozen different ways are trying to make it harder for poor people, for old people, for young people, for people of color to vote. That is a disgrace. That is unacceptable. And if I am elected President of the United States, trust me, our Department of Justice will take on these Republican governors. Now, what American democracy is, who's a citizen of this country has the right to vote. End of discussion. And I say to those cowardly Republican governors, if you don't have the guts to participate in a free and fair and democratic election, get out of politics, get another job. What this campaign is about is revitalizing American democracy, making sure that every American knows that in a democracy, he and she are powerful people if they exercise that power. But our campaign is not just about ending a corrupt campaign finance system. It is about ending a rigged economy. And let me tell you what a rigged economy is, because the television news and the radio guys and the newspapers are not going to tell you, so let me have the honor of telling you. What a rigged economy is that today, believe it or not, the top 0.1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. What a rigged economy is about is the wealthiest 20 people owning more wealth than the bottom 150 million Americans, half our population. And let me give you another example of what a rigged economy is about. The Walton family pays wages to its Walmart employees that are so low that many paid food stamps and subsidized housing. And you know whose taxes pay for those food stamps and Medicaid? You do. So you have the absurd situation where work in America. That is crazy. So I say to the Walton family, get off of welfare, pay your workers a living wage. And here's what else a rigged economy is about. In the last 30 years, we have seen a massive explosion of technology. You guys ready for a radical idea? Together, we are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. But it's not just a corrupt campaign finance system. It is not just a rigged economy. It is a broken criminal justice system. Now, what this campaign is about is asking the American people to think outside of the box, not accept the status quo as the reality that we have to continue. We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world. You tell me why we should be having more people in jail than any other country on earth. And the people in jail are disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native Americans. And let me tell you some of the reasons why we have more people in jail. Today, it's not discussed at all. Youth unemployment is off the charts. For high school graduates who are white, youth unemployment 33%. Latino, 36%, African American, 51%. You ready for another radical idea? Together, for our young people, we're going to invest in education and jobs, not jails and incarceration. And when we talk about a broken criminal justice system, all of us are tired of seeing the videos on television of unarmed people, often minorities, being shot and killed by police officers. Now, I was a mayor for 8 years. I've worked with police departments all over my state and police officers all over the country. The truth is, vast majority of police officers are honest, hardworking, and have a very difficult job. But when a police officer, like any other public official, breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We have got to demilitarize local police departments. We have got to create police departments that reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. We have got to rethink the failed war on drugs. Today and over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have police records for possession of marijuana. And a police record is not a joke when you're out applying for a job. Lives are ruined. Kids can't get jobs, then they do bad things to get income, and they end up in jail. In my view, right now, we have under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, at the Schedule 1 level is marijuana, right alongside heroin. Now, people and scientists argue about the pluses and minuses of marijuana, but all of you know marijuana is not heroin. And that is why I have introduced legislation to take marijuana out of the Federal Controlled Substance Act. States, as you all know, it is a decision of the states to decide whether to legalize marijuana or not. But in my view, the federal government should not make it a federal crime. When we talk about drugs in my state of Vermont, in neighboring New Hampshire, all over this country, we have an epidemic of heroin addiction and opiate addiction. Every day, people are dying from overdoses. In my view, when we talk about drug addiction and substance abuse, we must consider it a health issue, not a criminal issue. We need a revolution in mental health care in America. When people need help, if they are addicted or if they are facing mental crises, they should be able to get the care when they need it, not 6 months from now. This campaign is doing well because we are listening to the American people, not wealthy campaign contributors. And one of the strong differences between Secretary Clinton and myself is how we raise our campaign funds. Now, sadly but truthfully, it requires hundreds of millions of dollars to run a national winning campaign. When we began this campaign, we had no money, no political organization, very little name recognition outside of Vermont. And we had to make a decision. Should we do what every other candidate does and start a super PAC? We agreed with you. And after about 1/10 of 1 second, we concluded we don't represent the billionaires. We don't represent Wall Street. We don't represent the drug companies. We don't represent corporate America. We are not going to have a super PAC, but we're going to do fundraising in a very different way. And what we did was pretty radical. We simply said to the American people, look, if you want real change in this country, if you want a candidate who's going to take on all of the special interest in the billionaire class, go to berniesanders.com and send us a contribution. And what happened, honest to God, is something that in a million years I would not have believed. As of today, we have received well over 5 million individual contributions. Now, Secretary Clinton recently announced that she has received 1 million individual contributions. That is very good. We have received 2 million individual contributions. I mean, 2 million, not 2 million, 2 million individual donors making over 5 million contributions. And that is, as I understand it, unprecedented for this point in a campaign. Anybody know what the average contribution is? I don't know why. I love that. I love that people know that. And you know why? Because that in itself, over 5 million individual contributions, $27 on average. That is revolutionary. And what that shows us, and that should give us hope for the future, is that when you have a campaign that speaks to the needs of the American people will respond. To paraphrase Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, this is a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, Secretary Clinton has chosen to raise her campaign funds in a very different way. She has several super PACs. Her largest super PAC recently reported raising $25 million from special interest, $15 million from Wall Street alone. Also raised money from the fossil fuel industry and the drug companies. And in addition to that, as many of you may know, Secretary Clinton has given speeches on Wall Street behind closed doors for $225,000 a speech. Now, as I've said before, I think that if you get paid $225,000 a speech, and there were many speeches, this speech must be of extraordinary brilliance. It must contain wisdom that will transform our planet. It must be written in Shakespearean prose. And if that speech is so great, it should be shared with the American people. Now, Secretary Clinton said, well, she is prepared to release her transcripts if other people are prepared to release their transcripts. So let me make a dramatic announcement tonight. Right on the eve of the Arizona primary. You all ready? I am prepared to release all of the transcripts of the speeches I gave to Wall Street. Are you ready? Here they are. Now, I just don't know why, but I have not been invited to give a speech to Wall Street. Not for $225,000, not for $25,000, not for $2,000, not for $2, not for nothing. But if Wall Street wanted to invite me to give a speech before them, this is what I would say, and by the way, I would be happy to release the transcript. What I would say is that the greed and recklessness and illegal behavior of Wall Street drove this country into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And what I would say is that Congress, against my vote, bailed them out because the big banks were too big to fail. Well, I would remind Wall Street that 3 out of the 4 largest banks in this country today are bigger than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. I would mention to Wall Street that the 6 largest financial institutions in this country have assets of some $10 trillion, 58% equivalent of the GDP of this country. They issue 2/3 of the credit cards in this country and 1/3 of the mortgages. And what I would tell them, as I have told the American people, when you have a handful of banks with that much economic and political power, what we need to do is reestablish Glass-Steagall legislation, and most importantly, we need to break them up. Now, I could be wrong, but I doubt if that speech would get me $225,000 from Wall Street. Now, this campaign has done well because we listen to ordinary Americans and not just billionaire campaign contributors. And by the way, we listen a lot to the working people of this country. And what workers in Arizona and across this country have told me is they can't make it on $7.25 an hour minimum wage or $8 or $9. And what they are telling me, and I agree, we need to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. And my understanding is that right here in Flagstaff, your city council is prepared to go forward and provide a $15 an hour minimum wage. And I applaud them. This campaign is listening to senior citizens and disabled veterans. And what disabled vets and seniors are telling me is they cannot make it on $11,000 or $12,000 a year Social Security. And you know what? Nobody can make it on $11,000 or $12,000 a year. And that is why I will reject all Republican efforts to cut Social Security, and I've got bad news for them. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand Social Security benefits.
Yeah, we're buffering.
This campaign is listening to women. And women are telling me they are tired of working for 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. And they should be tired, because this is nothing but old-fashioned sexism, and we are going to end that. And I know that every man here tonight will stand with the women in the fight for pay equity. This campaign is listening to young people. And one of the most gratifying aspects of this entire campaign so far is that in state after state, we are winning the young people's vote by very large margins. And obviously, what that should tell everybody in this country is the young people, the future of America, are fighting for a new America, a new set of priorities. The young people are tired of establishment politics, establishment economics. They have a different vision for this country, and I thank them for that. And what young people are telling me is, why should it happen today that for the first time in the modern history of this country, young people may well have a lower standard of living than their parents? This is the American dream in reverse. My parents never had any money, but they worked hard, and they hoped that my brother and I could do better than they did financially, and we have. That's been the American dream. Parents working hard so their kids could do better. It is not acceptable to me that that American dream is disappearing. And we're going to create an economy that rebuilds and rekindles that American dream. And what young people are also telling me is, they say, Bernie, everybody told us that education is enormously important. They told us to get the best education that we could. They said it was good for ourselves and good for the country. And yet now we are leaving school $30,000, $50,000 in debt. We should not be punishing millions of young people for doing the right thing. Think outside of the box and outside of the status quo. Think for a minute. Everybody knows we live in a competitive global economy. We need the best educated workforce in the world. Why in God's name are we forcing millions of people to pay decades of debt because they chose to do the right thing and get an education? That's crazy. So we're going to do two things. Number one, everybody here knows that 100 years ago, people with great foresight fought for free public education, first grade to the 12th grade, an enormous achievement. But the world and the economy have changed. Today, people need more education than just a 12th grade education. So, in the past, first grade to 12th grade public education was great. You graduated high school 50 years ago, you can go out and get a great job. The world has changed, and that is why I believe when we talk about public education today, we must insist that public colleges and universities be tuition free. This is not a radical idea. It exists in Germany. It exists in Scandinavia. And you know what? People don't know this. To a significant degree, it existed in this country 50 years ago. 50 years ago, you could go to the great public colleges and universities in America, University of California, City College in New York City, state colleges all over this country. Tuition was virtually free. If we could do it 50 years ago, we can do it today. And we have got to deal with the crisis of student debt. What we propose is that people with student debt refinance their loans at the lowest possible interest rates they can find. This will substantially lower student debt in this country. Now, I am often criticized by my opponent, by the establishment. They say, well, Bernie Sanders giving away a lot of free stuff. Santa Claus, giving away. Now, I want you to think about this. When Wall Street crashed because of their illegal behavior and greedy actions, the Congress bailed them out. That was just wonderful. That's what the ruling class wanted, and that's what happened. Now, I happen to think that today we should establish a tax on Wall Street speculation. And that would bring in more than enough money to make public colleges and universities tuition free and substantially lower student debt. When Wall Street crashed, middle class bailed them out. Now it is their time to help the middle class. This campaign is listening to the Latino community. And what the Latino community is saying is they are tired of living in the shadows, tired of living in fear, tired of being exploited, as 11 million people in this country are undocumented. They are tired of the ugliness of people like Sheriff Joe Arpaio. They are tired of the ugly insults from people like Donald Trump. And what they are saying, and I agree, the time is long overdue for this country to move to comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. And let me say that if Congress does not do its job and pass comprehensive immigration reform, I will use all of the powers available to me as President of the United States, our executive power, to make sure that we protect those people today who are living in fear. The goal of a sane immigration policy is to unite families, not divide families. The goal of a sane immigration policy is to end the deportations we are now seeing. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. And what they are saying is, how could in this country we see a situation like we are seeing in Flint, Michigan, where children are being poisoned by excessive lead in the water? How in America, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, can we see minority community after community with outrageous high levels of unemployment, with schools that are failing, with healthcare systems that are totally inadequate. And what my brothers and sisters in the African American community ask me, how does it happen that we can spend trillions of dollars on a disastrous war in Iraq, but we cannot rebuild the inner cities of America? And let me say something about Flint, because I was there, and I talked to the families impacted. What I heard was literally incomprehensible. It was hard for me, honest to God, to register what people were saying. Children in America in 2016 being poisoned. But if you think that it is only Flint that has a crumbling water system, you would be mistaken. Hundreds of other communities are struggling with inadequate and antiquated water systems and wastewater plants. In my state of Vermont, we have many bridges which are in massive need of repair, roads, potholes all over America, traffic congestion, airports need work. Our rail system needs major upgrading. Metropolitan rail systems all over the country need work. Our levees, our dams. This is America. We should not be having a crumbling infrastructure. Instead of giving tax breaks to billionaires or fighting wars that we never should have gotten in the first place, we're going to rebuild our infrastructure. And $1 trillion investment over 5 years creates 13 million good-paying jobs. This campaign is listening to the Native American community. And I have had the privilege of meeting with tribal leaders here in Arizona, in fact, all over this country. Anybody who has studied American history for 3 minutes knows how shamefully the Native American people have been treated from the day the first settlers came to this country. Native Americans have been cheated, they have been lied to, and treaties they signed have been abrogated. We owe the Native American people a deep, deep debt of gratitude that, in fact, we can never repay. They have taught us so much, and have enriched our culture, and maybe most significantly, they have taught us that it is imperative that we live with nature, as part of nature, rather than destroy nature. As President of the United States, I will begin the process of treating the Native American people with the respect and dignity they deserve. I am a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment. And I have talked to scientists throughout our country and throughout the world. The debate is over. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already causing massive damage in our country and all over the world. This is not a debatable issue. The moral thing to do is to make certain that we leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for our kids and future generations. We have got to summon the courage to take on the fossil fuel industry and to tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. We have got to work with countries all over the world. This is not an American issue, it's an international issue. We work with China, Russia, India in moving away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. All of you know that your beautiful state of Arizona has an extraordinary natural resource. It's called the sun. And as president, I will help the people of Arizona build the solar facilities and have the solar panels that they need. Arizona can be producing electricity not only for this state, but for the entire West. That's the future of America. Now, I have been criticized roundly for saying this, so let me say it again. In my view, health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. There is something very wrong when every other major country on earth, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Holland, Scandinavia, Canada, every major country guarantees health care to all people except the United States. Now, I'm a member of the committee that wrote the Affordable Care Act. It has done some very important and positive things. We have done away with the obscenity of pre-existing conditions. 17 million Americans now have health insurance as a result of the ACA, and we have done away with discrimination against women who are paying higher premiums than they should have. But here is the other reality, and that reality is despite the success of the Affordable Care Act, 29 million people still have no health insurance. Many more are underinsured with high deductibles and copayments. Sound familiar? And we are being ripped off in an unconscionable way by the greed of the drug companies. Drug companies are charging us by far the highest prices in the world for the medicine we need. Situation is so crazy that 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford the medicine their doctors prescribe. And then on top of all of that, we are spending much, much more per capita on health care than any other country. We spend almost 3 times what the British do. They guarantee health care to all. 50% more than the French, much more than the Canadians. Now, I believe, my opponent does not, but I do believe, that the American people have the courage and the willingness to take on the private insurance industry, to take on the drug companies, and to move this country to a Medicare for all, single-payer healthcare system. And when we do that, we save middle-class families many thousands of dollars a year on their health care costs. Now, all of you know that change, real change, never takes place from the top on down. It always takes place from the bottom on up. When workers 100 or more years ago were being ruthlessly exploited, overworked, underpaid, they said, we are going to form unions and we're going to fight for our rights and our dignity. Millions of workers came together to form unions. The civil rights movement in this country resulted from millions of African Americans and white allies and other allies saying over hundreds of years that this country will not be based on racism, bigotry, and segregation. And many of those people who took on the racist, some of them were beaten, some of them were jailed, some of them were killed. But finally, the American people came together and said, racism will not be what America is about. People forget this, but 100 years ago, not a long time in a historical perspective, 100 years ago, women in America did not have the right to vote. They could not go to the schools they wanted to go to. They could not do the jobs they wanted to do 100 years ago. But women and their male allies said, sorry, in America, women will not be second-class citizens. And women fought back. They went to jail. They waged hunger strikes. Some died to make sure that women got the rights they were entitled to and that we fought against sexism. Okay? If we were here in this beautiful amphitheater 7 years ago, not a long time at all, somebody jumps up and says, Bernie, you know, I think by the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in 50 states in this country. The person next to that person would have said, you're crazy. What are you smoking? Nobody would have believed that could have happened. But what has happened over decades is the gay community and their straight allies took on the vicious hatred and bigotry that was out there, stood up to it, and made it clear that in America, people have the right to love whoever they want to love, regardless of gender. And let me give you an even more contemporary example of how change comes about. If we were here 4 or 5 years ago and somebody jumped up and said, you know, Bernie, this $7.25 minimum wage is really a starvation wage. It really is awful. I think we should raise that minimum wage to, say, $15 an hour. What people in the room would have said, $15 an hour? You're nuts. That's double what it is right now. We can never get $15 an hour. But workers in the fast food industry, in McDonald's, in Burger King, in Wendy's, they went out on strike. They stood up, they fought back. And then you know what happened? A couple of years ago, Seattle, $15 an hour. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Oregon, $15 an hour. New York State, $15 an hour. And hopefully, Flagstaff, $15 an hour. What is my point? My point is that the only way we bring about real change is when millions of people look around them and say, you know, this status quo is not acceptable. We have got to change. We have got to rid ourselves of racism and sexism and homophobia. We've got to rid ourselves of the exploitation of millions of workers. And I think what is happening right now, and what this campaign is about, is all over this country, people are looking around them, and they're saying, what is going on in America? Why is it that we have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth? Why is it that we are the only major country that does not have paid family and medical leave? Why is it that millions of our young people are suffocating with student debt? Why is it that we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, over 20%? Why is our infrastructure collapsing and children drinking poisoned water? Why is it that the rich get much richer and now, through Citizens United, control our political system? So people all over the country, they're looking around and they're saying, this is not what America should be. We need change. We need real change. And what people are understanding is that real change is not going to come from a candidate who receives millions from Wall Street or the drug companies or the fossil fuel companies, from a candidate who voted for the war in Iraq, from a candidate who supports fracking. And what people understand is the only way we make real change is when millions of people stand up together and say that our government has got to represent all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. Now, many of you know that it is possible, we'll see what happens, that Donald Trump will be the candidate for president of the Republican Party. And let me tell you why Donald Trump will not be elected president if he is the Republican nominee.
Yeah, we just lost it. Not sure what's going on here. Well, hi everybody. I think from what I'm seeing here, I just checked 2 streams, and both of them are showing offline. So I'm wondering if there was some kind of power outage, some kind of a network break at the event, because that's unusual when 2 of them hit like that. If anybody can find a live stream still going, let me know. I'm going to check live production, but that was kind of weird. Both Bernie Sanders News and Events and Fox 10 streams are down. I don't have the 3rd stream provider we had up, which was News Universe, but I would bet they are in the same shape. Sorry, folks. Right in the middle of Great Bernie, and it's gone. Hate it when that happens. Here, let me check News Universe, see what's going on with them, and if theirs is down too,
medical leave? Why is it that millions of our young people are suffocating with student debt? Why is it that we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, over 20%? Why is our infrastructure collapsing and children drinking poisoned water? Why is it that the rich get much richer and now, through Citizens United, control our political system? So people all over the country, they're looking around and they're saying, this is not what America should be. We need change. We need real change. And what people are understanding is that real change is not going to come from a candidate who receives millions from Wall Street or the drug companies or the fossil fuel companies, from a candidate who voted for the war in Iraq, from a candidate who supports fracking. And what people understand is the only way we make real change is when millions of people stand up together and say that our government has got to represent all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. Now, many of you know that it is possible, we'll see what happens, that Donald Trump will be the candidate for president of the Republican Party. And let me tell you why Donald Trump will not be elected president if he is the Republican nominee.
Okay, so obviously what we were getting was a delayed feed from News Universe channel because they were just getting to the Donald Trump part, which we had already been to with Fox Phoenix. There has to be some kind of a power outage or a network feed cut or something. Something's going on. So if we can get some information. Yeah, he just kicked in, hang on, he just kicked in tunes on News Universe. He just got the metal kicked in. No, you could hear that the metal kicked in. That's loud. Sorry, guys. Here. He's we've just got a scene of crowd. Might be somebody outside. Yeah, he's working on it himself, folks. He's working on getting audio. So I don't know what's going on. If we can find it. Oh, wait. Maybe we got it back. Let's see if we got this running. Oh, not good. Oh.
Now, many of you know that it is possible, we'll see what happens, that Donald Trump will be the candidate for president of the Republican Party. And let me tell you why Donald Trump will not be elected president if he is the Republican nominee. Now, many of you know that it is possible.
Looks like or sounds like we're looping on News Universe, folks. Fox Phoenix is offline. And Bernie Sanders streams and events. Looks like both of them doing, yeah. So we've lost it, folks. I am very sorry. We'll keep an eye on it. But at this point, I have no idea what's happening. Anybody who's there on the ground, give us an idea what happened. If we can get somebody to report for us, ask out on Twitter. See if we can get somebody in social to report. Maybe we can get a Periscope feed. Maybe there's a 4G signal that's still working. But at this point, I got to tell you, that's weird. That's weird that we've got all three streams cut. And that would, I mean, to me, that indicates a network issue somewhere at source. So who knows? News Universe is working, but it's not a, it's a loop. It stops
the presidency of Barack Obama.
Have we moved past that? Here, let's try.
And what, people have the right to disagree with Obama on anything, that's fine. But what he was attempting to do is to suggest that President Obama was not a legitimate president, was not born in the United States of America. That is an incredibly ugly and dangerous thing to do. Now, I have found it very interesting. President Obama's father was born in Kenya. My father was born in Poland. I'm the son of an immigrant. But I have found it very interesting that nobody has ever asked me for my birth certificate. You think it might have something to do with my skin color? I think so. Donald Trump will not be elected president because the American people understand that bringing our people together, black and white and Latino and Asian American and Native American, straight and gay men and women, bringing people together always trumps dividing us up. The American people understand that coming together and supporting each other to help each other always trumps selfishness. And the American people most profoundly understand, and this is deep and maybe the most important thing, they understand what every major religion on earth has taught us: Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, every religion, that at the end of the day, love trumps hatred. Tomorrow is a very important day. Tomorrow, Arizona has its primary, and I can tell you that what we have seen in this campaign is we do very well when the voter turnout is high. We do not do well when the voter turnout is low. So my request is that tomorrow, please come out to vote. Bring everybody you can. Lead this country into a political revolution. Thank you all very much.
Well, that was a fun night bouncing around between streams. I really want to thank Fox 10 Phoenix and News Universe Channel and Bernie Sanders streams or speeches and events. We bounced between all three of those tonight to try to keep Bernie going in this particular rally. He was fantastic as always. I like when he was talking specifically about Native Americans. He has really been bringing that up mentioning specifically just how much we've screwed Native Americans over the course of American history here. So I really appreciate that. It's something that we at Bernie 2016 .tv have been focused on. We had the program Native Life running for quite some time with Pat Spray, and I'm really glad to hear Bernie start bringing that up. Glad you guys are here. Yes, voter turnout is huge, and it is important. That is the most important thing. We need everybody to show up, particularly in Arizona. All right, and we will be doing a streamathon tomorrow. We will be doing some special stuff too. We're going to have some cool stuff. We're going to have some footage that we weren't able to show you before, some high-quality footage of an artist. I'm going to play him to go out, Makana. We've got a 16-minute interview that was captured by Nico Nolan the other day, but the audio was really crappy, and he did this fantastic guitar solo, and we're going to play that during the streamathon tomorrow to support Arizona, Idaho, and Utah as they vote for Bernie Sanders, right? But a couple things, some big news. I don't know if you saw that Washington Post, I think it was Washington Post, that I dropped the link in, guys. Bill Clinton, and I want to get the whole quote because they only give us a part of the quote and they don't show us the context prior, so I want to read what Bill was saying prior. I hate it when they do that. But apparently, and it is trending right now on Twitter, so go to Twitter, get that Bill Clinton trend, look at that, see what's going on, grab the hashtag, call it out, share it around, blow that up. Because he really, if this is true, he really made a big gaffe, basically calling Obama's 8 years bad and the years before that bad, and that doesn't look good when Hillary is campaigning on how great, she's basically running on Obama's legacy, and Bill just called it crap. So let's see if we can't find that and find out if that's true. I think that's fantastic. Yes, I will be on to track the votes tomorrow night. Yes, I will. That links? Inks? Yes, I will be on to track the votes. We're going to be doing that. We're going to have a newsroom tomorrow morning. It's going to be a very special newsroom. We're going to talk about some special things, some interesting stuff going on about the Democracy app. Place a vote. If you guys haven't done Place a Vote, go there, sign up. We'll be talking with Job, not during the newsroom, but after the newsroom to begin the streamathon, which will be somewhere around noonish, noon 30-ish Pacific time. I realize we're not going to have results till way later, so I may do a partial streamathon and then take a little break, come back, do another one. It'll be a fun day. We'll figure out what's going on. I've got music that I can run. We finally figured out some things with YouTube and copyright and ways to avoid some issues. Thanks to a link from YouTube, but that was actually useful, believe it or not. So I will thank you, YouTube, for that. So, yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about that stuff. It's a couple of the things I wanted to mention before we go. We talked about Bernie winning the Democratic votes abroad, which is great. Caucusing, so go to vote.berniesanders.com, vote.berniesanders.com. It's a very lovely map. Go there if you are in Arizona, Idaho, or Utah, and you want to get the vote out for Bernie tomorrow. That will tell you everything you need to know, how to figure out where to go, the times, all of that stuff. Vote.berniesanders.com. That is where you go to get all of the information you need. I want everybody to please go to the WikiLeaks Clinton emails and blow that up. Facebook has been doing what they can to suppress that. This is huge. The information in there needs to be shared. People need to see how she has lied, how she sells weapons of mass destruction around the world and cheers when they make good Christmas sales to Saudi Arabia of F-15s. We need to show everybody how much of a liar Hillary Clinton is and why she's not worthy of the Oval Office. So please have fun with the WikiLeaks Clinton emails. Make sure that is proliferated everywhere. Let Facebook know how you're not really thrilled with the fact that they are basically censoring information. Thank you, Facebook, for being an establishment company. Really don't appreciate it. So please do that for me. Do that for us. Do that for the democracy. I just want to hit this. We'll talk about this tomorrow. But before we go, everybody, a new study: Sanders' tax Wall Street plan would raise $300 billion, create millions of new jobs. This is an article by Rose Allen DeMoro in HuffPost Politics. We'll talk about this again tomorrow in depth, but I just wanted to point this out. It's there. Thank you, Rosie. Love you too. Thank you, Rosie Lopez. Love you too. Been a good night, everybody. We're going to go out with Makana, And then tomorrow, we're going to play some extended footage, exclusive footage captured by Aniko Nolan. McConnell was in Phoenix recently, played an event there, and we almost got to hear him live on stage, except Fox 10 Phoenix thought they were going to get in trouble. They would not have gotten in trouble, but that's okay. That's okay. See, this whole copyright thing is very confusing with all this stuff. So, yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow. But let's see, there's one other thing. Tim Canova, make sure we help Tim Canova, everybody. The DNC is doing something horribly wrong here. This is totally against the law. This is just ridiculous. Tim Canova is going against Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Florida. We need to do everything we can to help him win. He is being denied access to the van voter database. This is wholly illegal and reeks of corruption in the DNC, and why we want to get rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and really why we want to, in my opinion, get rid of the DNC and replace it with a new party, the Bernie-crat party. But please, go to moveon.org, find this. It's a petition to let Tim Canova access the van voter database. It's just absolutely disgusting that they're not helping him out right now. I don't get it. I don't understand. And let's see. I want to make sure I covered all of the things I wanted to talk about. Oh, just for fun, just everybody, if you didn't know, Bernie Sanders outraised Hillary Clinton by $13.4 million in February because we're badass. So when Bernie Sanders raises money, that means we were badass. So congratulations, everybody, for again beating Hillary Clinton in fundraising. We did it in January. We did it in February. We're like kicking serious ass. We've got this. We just need to get out the vote. We need to do everything we can. We need to phone bank. We need to face bank. We need to call our friends. We need to bribe our friends if they don't want to get out the vote. We need to tell them, come with us if we're in Arizona, if we're in Idaho, if we're in Utah. Tomorrow, it's time to rise and vote to change your democracy for the people. All right? This is what we need to do, guys. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about the AIPAC thing. I love the fact that Bernie didn't go to that and that he did a different speech. But I don't have that. Maybe we can try to find copies of that. DNC corrupt. I agree. All parties are corrupt. Justin, absolutely. All the Republican and Democratic parties should not exist. They should just be wiped out and establishment politicians deposed, removed from power, and a new government put in place, and we'll create new names for parties. We'll wipe out all the old white privilege, dino thinking concepts of our government and build a new government based on what we know it should be in the 21st century, based on things like Place a Vote, which is the framework for the Democracy app, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do, folks. Yeah, screw AIPAC. Hey, bro, interesting. Just reading comments. All right, guys, so we're going to get out of here. Thank you for sticking with us. I want to make sure there's nothing in live production that everybody's screaming at me to do or say. No. All right, good. We're doing good, guys. Remember, you've got an arsenal of weapons. If you go to politicalrevolution.tv, which is where the newsroom is, that's the channel on YouTube, I always drop a list of links of all the news and articles that are going on. This is your weapons to blast on the web, to share. These are articles of truth about Bernie Sanders, about what's going on with Hillary Clinton, all this stuff. This is how we fight mainstream media, establishment media bullshit. So anytime you're looking to help the cause and you want to do it on the web, share some of those links. All right? We will see you guys tomorrow. Newsroom, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And then we'll have fun with a streamathon, report the results of all of the votes tomorrow, and have a great time supporting Bernie Sanders together. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. You're welcome, Joob Jab. You're welcome. I love doing this. You're here. I'm here. You guys make me want to do this. All right? So thank you for being here. We have the best conversation on the web, and we have it because of our comment monitors and mods that take the time to keep this conversation productive and fun and happy, and take your comments and drop them in the lower third so I can have a conversation with you. As a matter of fact, I would be remiss in my duties if I did not take a look at your actual comments and questions as highlighted by the fantastic comment mods this evening. Let me take a look. I know I saw some things that were highlighted. Wow, did we have a ton of comments. I think we almost cleared a sheet. Random question for those watching. How does it feel to be an activist of the early 2000s? Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's awesome. We're making history right here. Together, we are making history. If we survive this and the planet survives, they'll be talking about this and asking us about this when we're old. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it feels awesome. Freedom of medical marijuana. Medical marijuana makes old people less grumpy. As an old person or older person, I can absolutely, yes, 100%. Yes. Let's see. What else do we have here? Society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they shall never sit in. Heisenberg. Nice. That's a good line. I like that. I agree. The idea is to be stewards. I want to be a steward of this nation. I want to be a steward of this planet, which means I leave something beyond me. Right? I leave it for the better of others when I'm gone. That's really how everybody needs to think and how every politician should be thinking. It really pisses me off that politicians have such, current establishment politician thinking is, what can we get right now? They have zero foresight. It's just amazing. What else we got here? What time is the streamathon, Annie? Oh, I don't know. Noon 30ish. We're gonna have guest Job in around noon. We have a meeting before that, so I want to start probably at noon 30th. That'll be part one. Maybe we do like a part one. If I have enough material, if I have enough long form material to fill in the gaps, we'll just keep running. All right. But yeah, probably around noon-ish, 30-ish Portland time. All right, West Coast. That's what time we're going to start. So everybody join. We'll have a good time. Watch some old Bernie, some new Bernie. I just want to make sure I got all the questions. Do we want Brom? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about an interview with Nico. So Nico, I'm assuming his name is Nico House. Guys, Nico's being interviewed right now, I believe, live on Tim Black. If you want to go watch that, so I would go check that out over there and support his channel, support his effort. All right. So there's accusations that Sanders staffers are sabotaging his campaign and have connections to Clinton. Yeah, again, that's the whole Nico House thing. You guys talk about that over there. That's maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit, but that's a whole other deal. I don't until I hear another source, until I hear something else about it, I'm really not sure what's going on there. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and then streamathon somewhere around noon-ish West Coast time. Now, we are going to end with Makana, Fire is Ours. Give me a second here to pull it up. And again, tomorrow, we are going to have a special 16-minute private concert from Makana at his host house when he was in Phoenix, Arizona, to play before the Sanders rally out there. But right now, we've got the Fire is Ours. This is really cool. If you guys haven't seen this, he tells a whole story about it, and he'll tell that story tomorrow. I won't, but yeah, the piano's real. The fire is real. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Feel the burn, everybody. Thank you for being here.
I've been lied to, misled, built about what they said, lifted only to be let down. I've been taken for a ride, given power to decide, only to find out I was wrong. But I learned to tell the ones who fake it from the few really fit to run. Just follow the money they've been taking, and the truth will shine like the sun. I'm so tired of lies now, babe. Don't wanna compromise, no way. And I feel the burn for someone who can't be bought, to back the man who's fought for the people of America. Agenda, who's the biggest spender, party personality. Soundbite, get it right, entertain him, it's a fight. Pick the one who most looks like me. Don't speak of any real solutions. It's a shock appeal they're looking for. Don't criticize the institution, but I can't take it anymore. Aren't you tired of lies now, baby? puppet string, but can't control the love we bring. The fire is out, the hour is now, the tide is set to turn. And I feel the burn to cast aside the chains, salvage what remains of a dream worth defending. And you feel the burn, standing up to grief. We're aligned with deep, we're the president of America.
Huge